When it comes to Casio watches, there are two models that get almost universal praise. The first is this one, the AE1200, and for this one I'd agree with the majority and say that this is a great watch. The other model is this one, and despite it being around since 2007, I've never felt the desire to add it to my collection. But recently on my travels I came across a variant with a tinting on the LCD panel, which made it too hard to resist, and so I purchased it in order to find out why it's almost as well loved as the AE1200. The variant of the W800 which I have is the W800HG-9AV, and I'm not sure how to describe the colour of the tinting. It's not quite gold and it's not quite pink, but somewhere in between. It probably doesn't come across very well on camera, but in real life it's quite noticeable. And to accentuate it, the border is finished in yellow as well as most of the text. I think that it looks quite nice indeed in this colourway. That being said, other colourways are also available. In trying to decipher the reasons as to why the W800 is so well received by those who own it, I think that one of them has to do with the shape of the case. Square-shaped cased digital watches are always more popular than round ones. You only have to look at the popularity of the AE1200 over the AE1000. These two watches are essentially the same, but in different shaped cases. A second reason for its popularity probably has to do with the dimensions of the case, which I think are almost perfect. I say almost because there is something about the case which I don't like, which I'll come on to. The dimensions are 44.2mm in length and 36.8mm in width. This makes it feel like you're getting a decent mid-sized watch for your money, which incidentally I paid under €20 for without it looking too small like the F91. Now here's how it looks on the wrist. The W800 comes with 4 steel buttons for the operation, 2 on either side, and they are nice and large. I always appreciate watches with 4 buttons over watches with only 3 buttons because they can be used to adjust the time both up and down. But unfortunately you can only move it forward on this watch. At the angle shown here you can see the reason that prevents the watch's size from being perfect, and that is the resin crystal is raised on a bezel. There is an air gap or wasted space if you like between the surface of the LCD and the crystal. My guess is that when the watch was originally being designed, they'd left a space in there for a faceplate, then abandoned the idea, instead putting printing directly onto the crystal. What this means is that the case is thicker than it needs to be, and at 13.4mm deep, it is 1mm thicker than the AE1200. On wrist the case does protrude more than I'd like it to, and as there's no surrounding protection for the crystal, it is liable to get scratched. The whole watch weighs 37 grams, so despite it sticking out, it does not feel top heavy. A feature of the W800 that's often praised is the LCD display. The digits for the time are large and the contrast is good when viewed straight on. It is also praised for showing the whole date on the main screen. So you get 3 letters for the day of week, the year, month and day. I will describe the layout as functional, as you can also see whether you have the alarm or hourly signal turned on all on the home screen. Also not perfect however, as the screen suffers from some of the worst ghosting I've seen on a Casio. Tilt it even by a few degrees and it becomes hard to tell the time. I don't know whether this is apparent in all W800s or whether it affects just this particular variant. One feature of the W800 which sometimes gets criticised but which I actually like is the strap. The buckle is made of plastic and is embossed with the Casio logo, and so is the keeper, which is something I haven't seen in other Casios. It is made of polyurethane resin and some owners complain that it's too thin. My impression of it is that it's no thinner than the straps on other standard Casios and is soft and pliable already, so no breaking in period is required. The lug width is 18mm and the widest part of the strap is 24mm. The resin case does feature exposed lugs, but they look almost hidden due to their short length. Over on the back is a steel case plate held down by 4 screws, and Casio claims a water resistance rating of 10 bar or 100 meters. The back plate has a vertical brushed finish and is embossed with the module inside the case, which is 3240. It is powered by a single CR2025 battery, which should last 10 years on average. The features that come with a 3240 module includes an alarm. This can be programmed as a daily alarm where it goes off every day. It can also be set as a date alarm where it only goes off on a specific date. As a 1-month alarm, it would only go off during a particular month, and as a monthly alarm, it would only go off during a particular day for each month. It can also be set as a snooze alarm where the alarm will activate every 5 minutes until you turn it off. The next feature is a stopwatch, and this has a maximum duration of 24 hours. It also includes split time in order to record first and second place. What's nice is that the current time continues to be shown in both the alarm and stopwatch modes. The last feature is dual time, and you can set it up for a second time zone to whatever value you want, as it's not linked to the home time. Press the mode button again and the screen returns to home time. I think that the greatest weakness of the module is that it doesn't include a countdown timer, which I find a very useful feature to have. At the position the W800 occupies in the Casio range, it should have one out of the box. I know that it has one that has been deliberately deactivated, which can be reactivated by removing a solder point, but you do risk damaging the watch. This is one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to add the W800 to my collection. For the same price or even cheaper, you can get the WS1400, which is just as good as the W800 and even includes a countdown timer. Finally, let's take a look at the backlight. This is provided by a single LED at the bottom left of the screen. Even though only one green LED is used, it is just about bright enough to illuminate the whole display. It does have afterglow, which means that you don't have to keep the light button pressed down. The afterglow's duration is about 2 seconds and cannot be increased. In reviewing the W800, I can understand why it's popular amongst those who own it. The first benefit is the case size, which hits the sweet spot of neither being too large nor too small. If you find the AE1200 too large, the W800 might be more suitable. It's got 10 years of battery life and 100 meters of water resistance, and it makes a good value proposition if you can pick one up in a sale for under $30 US. If you're having to pay more, there are better mid-size watches out there, like the WS1400. Let me know if you would consider adding the W800 to your collection, or if you already own one. Until next time, see ya!